You guys aren't sick of RGB yet, right?
Today's sponsor is the PowerColor Red Devil RX 5700 XT. In my testing, this card kept AMD's 7nm GPU 10 degrees C cooler under load than the reference design. Ball-bearing fans bring the noise down to a whisper that's virtually silent in most cases, the metallic backplate features large cutouts for assisted ventilation, and for the first time ever, the Red Devil takes on a new look with RGB lighting. To learn more, click on the link below.
We're gonna have to talk about it again today, guys. I apologize in advance. We're discussing RGB. What is it? Where does it come from? And does it really make your system 10 times faster? These are the questions that no one is asking. So we're not gonna address any of that. RGB pun. We're actually gonna be talking about some new RGB strips from the folks over at Phanteks. These are their neon strips. You can see they look a little bit different. They're using a silicone tube-like material that's supposed to be more flexible, durable, and shine more awesomely than the existing type of RGB strips that we're familiar with. Now, contrary to what some people might believe, this is not a new breed of RGB strip. Phanteks didn't cook this technology up in their basement last week. The silicone tube stuff has actually been around for quite some time, even in an addressable RGB format. However, it's just never been popularized really in the PC market until now. And that's where Phanteks can claim first, is by being the first to introduce these strips in such a way where they're very easy to slot into a user's PC. These strips terminate to a 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB header, so you can easily connect it to your supported motherboard. With supported RGB software, including MSI Mystic Light, Asus Aura Sync, Gigabyte RGB Fusion 2.0, ASRock Polychrome Sync, and Razer Chroma. And just to reiterate, the goal of using this type of strip is that it's a lot more flexible and durable than the traditional strip, and the silicone housing itself is supposed to provide a much more even and diffused glow that's void of any hotspots. Phanteks is selling these strips in 3 different models. Each one comes included with a handful of mounting accessories so that you can more easily route it inside your case, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. The first kit is the M5, which is just a single 550mm strip. This retails for $15. Then we have the M1, which is a $20 strip. That's 1000mm in length. And finally, we have the combo set at $22, which includes a pair of 400mm strips. Actually pretty good pricing compared to what you find with the traditional strip. I was sort of expecting this to be a premium because there's nothing like it in the PC space right now, but good on Phanteks for keeping the prices reasonable. All right, I'm gonna crack one of these suckers open. Actually, I might open a few. I don't know yet, but I do have the perfect system to try these out in. So this is the dual streaming system that I put together recently. I did a video on it as well. You can check that out if you're interested, but it also happens to be inside of a Phanteks case. This is the Lux 2. It is a dual system chassis. As you can see, we've got our full-size ATX, or I think that's eATX actually, and our mini ATX streaming PC right there. I took the capture card out so you can see it better. But this will be a great subject for our strips today because there's a lot of ground to cover in here, a lot of room for activities, which will allow us to play around with the strips a bit. But first, a closer look at the strip before we get started. You can see that it's actually square in shape, or rectangular, I should say, with straight edges all around. I thought it was going to be more cylindrical, like an actual tube, and I thought that would have made more sense for routing, but we'll see how it goes. There also seems to only be one side of the strip that allows light to pass through, but perhaps there's a reason they did that, and I'm not going to knock it till I try it, so we'll just see how this works in practice. At either end of the strip, you'll find your connectors. One is male and one's female, so you could connect this to an additional strip or just simply wire it directly to the adapter that they've included, which has a bit of length on it, so it's more or less an extension, and that terminates to a 3-pin 5-volt connector that goes to your motherboard. Each kit also includes a handful of mounting accessories to help you route the strip cleanly inside of your case. They come in 3 different flavors, including 90 degree, 180 degree, and flat, along with these adhesive backings in order to adhere the mounts to the case. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I can say about this thing until I get it installed. In fact, I'll probably need more than one of these because the case is so huge, so let's get to it. That looks perfect. I'm just gonna leave it right there. All right, I got the strips all installed. It took me roughly 20, 25, maybe even 30 minutes, but then again, we are dealing with multiple strips and an extremely large case. Most people won't take that long, but that is to say that this is slightly more complicated than your old traditional RGB strip, mainly because you do have these mounts that you have to take some time to put adhesive backings onto and then sort of line it up, make sure it's very accurate before you stick it on there. I think I have roughly 2 or 3 of these mounts per strip. I installed all 4 of the strips that Phanteks sent me. Obviously, you don't need to do that. This is $60 worth of RGB strips. That's a little bit unnecessary unless you have a large case like this. But I did use a good number of these mounts in the process. Bear in mind that these strips aren't the most conducive if you want to route them from one side of the case to another. Notice how I have an individual strip on each side of the case. The shape and design just don't bend very naturally that way, unless of course you have the LED side of the strip either facing in the case or outside of the case. But if you have it facing sort of like this, it's gonna be a really awkward and uncomfortable turn going from one side of the case to another. They do a great job, however, if you wanna make a right angle turn like this. You can see I used a right angle, a 90-degree mount right there, and it looks very straight. As long as you put the mount in the proper place, everything should line up well. I didn't use the mount for this because it was too tight of an area, so the strip's just naturally hugging the corner of the fan, which is why it doesn't look quite as clean as this bend right here. Another thing to bear in mind is that you wanna make sure that your chassis, sorry about that. You want to make sure that your chassis has ample space and room to actually place these mounts. It was obviously no problem inside of the Lux 2, but a lot of cases may have a harder time fitting these in the appropriate places. So you just want to double check the clearance and spaciousness of your case and where you plan to actually mount these before you invest in one of these kits. And finally, to my knowledge, you cannot cut these strips down to size like you can with traditional strips. So this strip right here was actually way too long. It went on for another, 400 millimeters or something. So I actually had to route it behind the motherboard tray and down on the other side of the case. Fortunately, it's still out of sight and out of mind, but it could have easily posed an issue in a different setup. Oh, last thing really quick before we fire it up. I have 1, 2, and 3 strips all connected to the same header on this Mini ITX motherboard. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I have no idea what the maximum supported number of strips or length is for a single connection. So I'll put that up on the screen somewhere once I figure it out. The last strip that I have is actually, I don't know if you saw, but it's right here to the right of the motherboard. I just have it going straight up and down. It actually curves underneath the motherboard as well, so it does have another right angle, so it kind of goes like that, and that's connected to our X570 Tai Chi. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this up. I hope it works. There's strip number 1. Ooh, look at that! Wow, that actually looks really nice, like absolutely zero hot spots. Wow, that is fire. I don't say that often because it's a stupid thing to say, but that is beautiful. That looks really nice. All right, let's boot up the other system now. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, dude, this totally brings back like the cathode ray tubes. Oh my gosh, that looks so sweet. Oh my gosh, look at the reflection on the radiator. Damn, son. Okay, I'm super sold. This looks really good, guys. It's hard to convey on camera, but it just looks so smooth, and the color transitioning is spot on, super nice and diffused. Wow. And I just love the fact that these strips, again, can go in certain places and do certain bends that your ordinary strip cannot. I'm gonna put the side panel on really quick. Oh my god, it looks so good. Wow, that's pretty badass. And the thing I love most about these strips is that since there's zero hotspots and you can look directly at them, it really opens up the number of possibilities of how these are used inside of a system. So I can't wait to see what people do with them. There's a lot of creative possibilities here. Okay, I did catch something really quick. I gotta point out that the end of this LED strip is not working. It just appears to be completely off, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. I don't know. I can't be certain if these are review samples that I got or if these are retail models. Maybe that has something to do with it, I'm not sure, or it could just be defective. But either way, it doesn't seem to be lighting up here. The rest of the strips look perfectly fine. Let me check the back one. Remember the one that I said it was too long, so I had to route it out the back here. Nope, this one looks perfect too. So it's just that one that doesn't seem to be lighting up. But apart from that, man, this looks good. I ain't gonna lie, guys, this is my favorite RGB strip on the market right now, by far. Simply because you can do so much more with it, you can route it in different ways, and it just looks so much better than the traditional RGB strip we're used to. So, thanks Phanteks for sending those over. I'm gonna close out this video, and thank you guys for guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of these strips if you're interested at all. I'll put a link in the description for more info. Maybe there'll be some product links. I couldn't find them on Amazon at the time of filming, but maybe by the time I actually upload this, they'll be available somewhere. Toss a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Did I say that already? I probably did. Get subscribed to the channel for more tech stuff coming at you really soon, and I will see you guys in the next video.